Hello everyone, thanks for joining in. This is Singularity bringing you another game from the StarCraft 2 ladder. This is the lesson game I was talking to you guys about in the last video. And well, let's get this underway. I'm spawning up here in the top left corner of Backwater Gulch. My opponent, Age or AGE, one of the two, is spawning on the top right corner. He is the blue Zerg, and I am the red Zerg. So, one thing to note, this is, like I said, this is going to be the lesson video that I'm talking about. Interestingly enough, you've got him going for 10 drones before he builds his overlord here, and I wonder if this was a mistake or if he did this on purpose. But one way or the other, he doesn't seem to be caring all that much about it. He's building his 3 drones afterward. Puts him only just very slightly behind. It's not really going to hurt him that much. Now, we both spot each other's overlords kind of heading toward each other's bases. So both of us know exactly where the other is. Now, I noticed the overlord, my drone's way over on the other end of the map. But now, I'm going to redirect him to come up here right away. Now, he put down his spawning pool at about the same time I did. Which, well, that's not so bad. Okay, apparently I don't notice this. Apparently I don't notice. Never mind. I'm just playing like a complete noob here. I don't notice the overlord, and I still have my drone scouted in this little corner here, and for some reason assume that he's up at the top, and put a whole bunch of waypoints and go, hey, wait a minute, that's not where he is. And I don't pay attention to my own macro here. So I've got a gas. Okay, here we go. Never mind. So at this point, he's got his drone. He's got his first scout in my base. I've got no vision on his yet. His queen is halfway built. Now he's putting down a spine crawler right here on the side. Now the thing is, I saw the drone go over on this side, so I knew that something was up. And I went and right away go to take out that spine crawler. Now I see the other drone. He wasn't going to pull any shenanigans with that one either. But at this point, the queen pops out and starts messing up my overlord and my drone here. So, for Zerg players, if you see that the spawning pool is complete with your overlord, make sure your overlord's not in their base, to make sure that you don't lose it to that queen, because that'll put you behind. Now he tried to steal the gas here, and then the Zerglings just gave him a bad day about that. So at this point, he doesn't have a lot of forces. He's putting down some spine crawlers just in case those Zerglings decide to come into his base. But he isn't really doing a whole lot else. Meanwhile, I'm just starting to spread the creep here. Now, a lot of people say that spreading the creep against a Zerg player is it's too much of an advantage for them, not enough for us, for yourself, as it were. But considering that the creep tumors will give you vision, that's actually really important. Now I get in here with my Zerglings. I see that there are spine crawlers up here. I'm trying to see if there's any tech buildings anywhere at all. But nothing to be seen. 1 gas, 1 queen, and no tech buildings. So I'm thinking, okay, what's going on over here? Gotta find out what he's doing. It's very important, and I did not spot these Zerglings up here. That would have been kind of important. Now I do have my lair up. He actually decided not to put up a lair. He was going to put up a baneling nest, and yeah. Okay, so he puts down his baneling nest, and at this point would have been a good time for me if I decided to say build up a roach army, because at this point he'd be going Zergling baneling, right? But instead I put down my expansion right away. he doesn't have an expansion. I do have my own Baneling nest coming out as well. And there is a specific reason for that. I didn't know about these Zerglings, but if I did, I would have been all the... Well, now I know about these Zerglings. Okay, that's, didn't know those were there. But now we both have Speedlings. His, Speedling research just finished. And at this point, he's coming to give me a bad day with them. And the expansion, there's no way that that's going to go up. And I figure these Speedlings probably moved out. And sure enough, they do come here, they come straight for the expansion. And they start... Well, first off, they killed off the creep tumor here. I canceled the expansion, and I'm able to get the drone out of there fast enough. What I did here was actually wall off using the roaches. That way, the Zerglings can't really get a surround on them. And since they're so hard for a Zergling to kill, they'd actually be able to hold the line. And that's something you want to consider. If somebody goes mass speeding on you, getting just a half dozen roaches and then walling off your ramp here will prevent them from coming in. It doesn't work on maps like Scrap Station that have a massive ramp, but it'll work on this one. So at this point I'm building up the roach army. Because I saw mass speedlings, I figured it's like every other Zerg versus Zerg I seem to be playing, where 9 times out of 10 it's just mass speedlings non-stop till the game ends. Now I do have some Banelings here. Unfortunately, well, sure they canceled that hatchery, but unfortunately 2 of them blow up on that drone right away, which leaves me with only 1. I wanted to have at least 2 here, but 3 would have been ideal. What I wanted to do is get them burrowed just in the mineral line, let him set up the expansion, and then later detonate the Banelings and kill off all the workers. That would put him back quite a bit, and do that right before attacking or something like that. But by losing those 2 Banelings, the plan doesn't quite go smoothly. And one thing worth noting, I have not scouted his base since that Baneling list was going up. And now he's putting down a Spire. Now that Spire is actually very good right now because I've got nothing that can counter it. Nothing at all. I've got 2 Queens that can attack air. I have a Hydralisk den, but I don't have any Hydralisks. Again, I'm going for a massive number of roaches. The way that I'd figured it, I'd be pushing out, I'd kill off the Speedlings, and then I'd build the roaches. But, not the roaches, sorry, the Hydralisks. The Hydras. And at this point I'm kind of pinned or I feel like I'm pinned on one base because of the ever-present threat of these Speedlings. If I move out, right now, there's still too many for me to deal with. Honestly, I don't know. Considering that they're not upgraded, these roaches could probably deal with them. But I'm waiting for these upgrades to finish, and then I would go hunt them down. Now one thing that's worth considering, a Baneling can do 35 damage against a light unit, plus 4 per upgrade. Now the drones, these light units, have 40 hit points, which means I can't actually one-shot them until I have plus 2 attack. Now I'm making sure that I have Banelings just in case he brings those Speedlings back. And now I'm getting ready to set up my expansion. Now I have a lot of roaches ready. And yeah. So at this point he in the meantime is setting up a Mutalisk army. I did not scout this. I should have brought an Overlord in at some point to at least look at what's going on in his base. That way I'd know that there were Mutalisks. Or if I could bring, yeah, at about the 7 or 6 minute mark, if I'd had an Overlord up here like I usually should, I could just bring him in, I'd have seen the Spire, and then I'd know that there's these Mutalisks coming in, and then I'd just build a mass Hydralisk army, since I already have the tech for it. Or, better still, a few Infestors. Yeah, a few Infestors and Hydralisks. Definitely the way to go against a mass Mutalisk army. So at this point, I've got my expansion going up. He's had his for quite a while now, and I know this because I've had this Baneling here the whole time. I'm waiting for my level 2 melee attack upgrade to finish. That way I can kill at least a few drones in one shot. Now, I don't see the speedlings all leave. I do at some point notice that there's something a little weird. The speedlings are just running kind of back and forth across the map. We're really not sure what's going on there. But watch what happens when this finishes. I'll try to remember to zoom back over there. At this point I figure, you know what, the roaches should be able to deal with any amount of speedlings that I find. And I saw him attacking the creep tumor down here. And I see this overseer here going, oh boy, I really hope he doesn't see, Well, he did see the 4 burrowed banelings right over here, and the burrowed zerglings. The reason that's a problem is because, well, it takes away the element of surprise. He wouldn't run the speedlings up there knowing that they'd all die right away. However, he can't see how much melee attack upgrade I have on them, because when they're burrowed, they don't show the attack. Now, I brought in the queen just to drive the overseer away. And now with all these speedlings just standing at the watchtower, not doing a whole lot, they're not being particularly useful. Now I'm gonna actually bring over here. Just look at what happens when the baneling detonates. It shouldn't be too much longer before it does. The attack upgrade is completed. Figure. Look at all those drones just died. That's a lot of damage. That was a lot of economic damage. And he probably didn't even get an indication that this happened because, well, he might have got an indication that the hive cluster was under attack. But the thing is, it won't tell you if your unit is killed in a single hit. Or at least as far as I can tell, it won't. He does see all these roaches, which probably makes him all the more pleased by the fact that he went by the Mutalisk route. And he's continuing just to get a few upgrades for them. Now, I still have no anti-air. I still haven't built a single Hydralisk. Well, okay, I've built a few Hydralisks, but not enough to deal with the 21 Mutalisks that he has. One Hydralisk can deal with one Mutalisk. The numbers don't quite scale up that easily, though. Now he sees this queen out in the open and decides, hey, easy pickings. And I realize these speedlings are still out on the field. And I saw where they went. So I send these roaches in here. Okay, don't make a... I'm sure I sent the roaches in here. Got the Hydralisk coming over here. Yeah, I send these roaches in here. There we go. To deal with these speedlings. I realized there's a few less of them than I thought. Now, lesson number 1. Tag the watchtower any chance you get. If I had, I'd have known that this base was up. And then I'd have done something about it right away. Now, this is despite the fact that all these Mutalisks were coming in to deal with the roaches. But then I would have known about the mutas much earlier as well. So, that's lesson number 1 for you. Lesson number 2, make sure you're scouting. He's getting a greater spire. I don't even know he has a spire. I don't even know... I haven't even seen this base since the Baneling nest was under construction way earlier in the game. I have a 3rd base out. And... well, this is just really a bad position. I need to get a bunch of Hydralisks before it's too late, and I have the resources to do it. But, well, at this point, it pretty well is too late. He has a lot of Mutalisks here. They're upgraded 1-1. He's got a bunch of Corruptors out, and as soon as this Greater Spire finishes, he'll be able to turn them into Broodlords, which will just make my day even worse, really. And now that he's moving out, it's pretty well too late to do anything about it. I do have an infestation pit coming up, but I see all these Mutalisks and Corruptors up here with this Overlord, and I'm thinking, oh boy, I don't have anything that I can do to counter this. I mean, my infestation pit is only half done. I get all these overlords out of there as fast as I can, but there's just not enough hydralisks here to deal with this kind of a problem. There's way too many. But he's cutting his losses. He decided not to commit all of them right away. First, he's going to get his broodlords, now that his Greater Spire is complete. With only level 1 attack and armor upgrade on these hydralisks, there's really not a whole lot I can do with that. Now he's looking for other bases. The speedlings are just out looking for blood. And at this point they don't find it. They're not upgraded, so if I had anything out there, they wouldn't be able to do anything against them. If they ran into the roaches, they'd be in a lot of trouble. But at this point, I mean, I'm trying to put up some spore crawlers, and then I see these broodlings raining down, and I know, at this point I know the game is over. I'm trying to hold on just a little bit, trying to see if maybe I could snipe out these broodlords, but with all the mutalisks, it's just not, it just doesn't happen. I need something to deal with the broodlings too, because, well, the broodlings, they pile up. They're like slightly weaker Zerglings. Enough of them still do a lot of damage. So the lessons here: scout, vision is important. If you're gonna come near a watchtower, especially if your opponent doesn't have it, tag it just to be safe. If I had tagged it, I'd have known about this expansion and I could have shut it down right then and there. But I still needed to scout to see this. This way I would have known to have more anti-air. Would have known to bring more hydralisks out. I would have been able to deal with these mutalisks right away. So that's my lesson to you for today. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you guys next time.